Everyone, hello. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to Let's Crack JEE, and we'll be having our third lecture for functions. So before starting, I just want all of you to quickly revise what we studied for the last 2 days. We studied about the function. We also studied about the classification of function. We studied about their domains, codomain, range, and we also studied about the different type of functions and their graphs and how to draw graphs based on standard functions we know. Okay, so let's start. And before starting the class, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Nishant Khanduja. I graduated and post-graduated from IIT Bombay, and I pursued my graduation and post-graduation both in aerospace engineering. Post that, I traded in US and Canadian markets for 2 years, and post that, I have been teaching students preparing for competitive examination, especially IIT JEE. And I was an individual teacher, and before that, when I was preparing for IIT also, I was an individual student as well. So what does that mean? So that means I didn't join any coaching institute, and that's the only reason I joined Unacademy, because I wanted people, those who are there in tier 3, tier 4, maybe villages, I want them to be study at their places without going to coaching institute and spending a lot of money. I don't want that. I want them to study at their home. And regarding my ranks, I got 1256 in IIT, 363 in AIEEE, and 4th rank in RPT, Rajasthan Pre-Engineering Test. And all the education here you get on the Unacademy platform, and we are running India's largest campaign, that is Crack IIT JEE. And when let me talk about the applications benefit. There is a one package called Plus Subscription. This is called Unacademy Plus Subscription. Here you get daily live classes. These live classes are different from YouTube classes, so just don't compare them with YouTube classes. It's absolutely different. You also get live tests and quizzes. You also get structured courses, and above all, you get unlimited access to the content, to the recorded videos, to the recorded material, everything. And apart from that, you get extra things in Iconic Subscription. This Unacademy Iconic Subscription has got personal coach. He'll be mentoring you, he'll be guiding your strategy for the examination. There is one test analysis report after every test you get, which tells you that here exactly you're losing the marks, here you need to just look after, here you need to prepare more, so that you can just reduce your negative marking and you can increase your score. Because we know your strength, you can just get maximum mark using your strength, but you have to save marks by attempting lesser negative marking questions, right? So this test analysis report is really helpful. Apart from that, you also get study planner. He tells you how to study, knowing what sort of a person you are. And apart from all these three extra benefits, you get all the benefits. Those are there in Plus Subscription. Now let me talk about the prices. So all these things you get on Unacademy Learning app. SYM24, good evening. Yes, good evening. And Adya, good evening. So let me talk about what you need to pay for the subscription. So there are packages available for 1 month, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. But I would suggest go for, because if you're a 11th standard student, go for a 2 years program, because that will help you a lot, in a sense that you will be having a same teacher for throughout the preparation. And those who are in 12th, or maybe they are dropping out, they can opt 1 year subscription. The prices are 58,500 for 1 year subscription and 56,000 for 2 years subscription. Now let me tell you a very good thing. That is a small gift from my end. You can use my promo code, that is NK001, and you would get 10% extra off, and the prices would become 34 50,650, and here it would become 50,400 rupees, which would approximately cost you 2,033 2,333 rupees per month for 2 years subscription. So that is hardly what? Hardly 80 rupees per day. That's it that you can spend for these three courses. And yes, one benefit I forgot to tell you, apart from maths, you can study physics, chemistry, whichever subject you want to study with whatever teacher. Let's say if you come to know, yes, there is a really good teacher there in Kota, maybe Hyderabad, anywhere. You can just watch his classes, watch his recorded videos, watch his study material. So it's a really good package. And regarding the iconic subscription, it would cost you for 2 years, it would cost you 86,000. You apply my code, that is NK001, and it becomes 77,400 rupees. Whereas for a year, it becomes 50,400 rupees. Okay, so let's start our class. But before starting our class, our daily ritual, we'll be meditating for 5 minutes. I want you to have all the concentration, all the positive energy in the class when you are attending these questions. So just close your eyes and start inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I want all of you to forget all the pressure, all the distraction you have in your life. Maybe it could be pressure, or maybe this competitive examination, or maybe what is happening in your family, with your friends. Just forget about everything. Let's leave yourself for this 1.5 hours. I want you to concentrate here. When I say 1, you guys are going to inhale. Then you are going to hold the breath till I start saying 2, 3, 4. And in 2, 3, 4, I want you to gradually exhale. Correct? Let's start. 1. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we'll inhale gradually. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now just concentrate. Think about all we studied yesterday, because we are going to use the same knowledge here. Just start recalling one by one. Different functions, their graphs, their domains, their range, and if we get another function, new function, which is made up of these standard functions, then how can we draw the graph? Just keep thinking. Okay. Now you guys can open your eyes and let's start. So, how are you feeling, guys? Good? All the positive vibes are there? All the energy? Yes. Okay. So why? Okay. So this is the question we attempted yesterday, and there was a small mistake which I made. So I wanted to correct. So let me tell you what's the mistake. See, when I drew this sine pi x graph, it would be like this, and for negative x part, it would be like this. This is 1, this is 2, and this is your 3. Similarly here as well, -1, 2, -2. Let's draw this ln mod x. When we draw its graph, if you remember, it was like this, and I drew above this 2 between above this sin x graph between 2 to 3. Actually, instead of going above, it would cut this sin x graph like this, and then it would go up, because I was just checking ln2's value. So ln2's value is lesser than 1. So then I realized, yes, that's the mistake I've committed. And similarly here, it would be like this, and it would go. So now when we count, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have exactly 6 number of solutions, which Adya told us yesterday, and she's absolutely correct. So really sorry, Adya, I told that yes, answer is 4, but it's 6. So that was the smallest mistake which I committed while drawing the graph, because I drew, because on these while drawing graphs here manually, so we commit a few mistakes. So that is one of them. When we have a proper chart, there is a very lesser possibility of committing mistakes. That's it. Okay, now let's move to our next question. So you can correct your answers. You can just correct this in your notebook. Okay, so next question. Find the range of f of x is equal to minus of signum function, that is a mod of x square plus 8 mod x plus 4 plus fractional part of 3.5 raised to x. Okay, your time starts now, so you can take 45 seconds to solve this question. If you have any doubt, you can just leave a comment, then I'll tell you how to solve this question. Okay, any doubt while solving this question, you can just leave a comment. Okay, so do you guys want more time, or shall I solve the question? There is no comment so far. SYM24, what do you think? How will you approach this question? This fractional part, yes, fractional part, absolutely right. SYM24, it's a fractional part, correct. Other says more time. Let's do one thing. Let me solve the question, and then you can check whether you are approaching this question in right manner or not, or I can give you another 30 seconds, and let me tell you the hint. First, if you are thinking that you will be able to solve this question using what I taught you day before yesterday, how to calculate range, you have to just equate it to y, and then for all the values of x, you figure out the values of y, correct? So using so mathematically, you won't be able to solve this question for sure. The only possible case is if you can draw the graph of the function which is given on the right hand side. Just think how exactly you can draw the graph. Okay, so I'll start solving this. So let's see one by one. Let's check this. This is signum of mod x square plus 8 mod x plus 4, correct? So in signum, if you remember, signum function is represented by like this, mod x. So if I want to write signum x, there would be mod x by x when x is not equal to 0, correct? True. And it becomes 0 when x is 0. Got it? Now just let's check whether this is 0 or it is never equal to 0. Okay, so for that, what we would be doing, we would be checking this quadratic equation in mod x. So let's check this equation. What I'll do is I'll check it for two intervals. When x is greater or equal to 0, so it becomes x square plus 8x plus 4, and when this, so it will be x square minus 8x plus 4, correct? Now let's check. So when I check this one, what do I see? I see it is, if I check its discriminant first, because discriminant would tell me whether it is going to have roots or not. When I check its discriminant, what do I see? I see this b square, which is your 64, minus 4 is 16. It gives me 48. Okay. Similarly, if I want to check this, same discriminant value I get 48. Discriminant is greater or equal to 0. That means what? So greater than 0. What does that mean? That clearly means that this equation is going to have roots. That means sometimes it will be positive and sometimes it will be negative. Correct? Now let's check when it will be negative and when it will be positive. So it's very easy for us because we just need to find the roots. Clear? So let's figure out the roots. So roots would be plus minus root b square. B square is again 64, 48. So I'll just write it down 1, 2. So it becomes minus 4 plus minus, and I can take this 4 common. So when I take it out, it becomes 2. So I have left root 12. So root 12, I can take again 4 common. It becomes 2, and it remains root 3 inside. Correct? So these are the two roots we got. Similarly, for this equation, I get these roots. 8 plus minus root 48 by 2, and I would get 4 plus minus 2 root 3. Clear? Any doubts? No. Now let's see the key points here. The very first key point here is when x is greater than 0, we are getting these two roots. So just let's check whether these roots are in this interval or not. So minus 4 plus 2 root 3. So minus 4 plus 2 root 3. Just check this out. 2 root 3. So root 3 is what? 1.7. So 1.7 into 2, 3.4. So minus of 4 and plus 3.4, it would give you negative number. So this root is not acceptable, positive one. Similarly, negative is not acceptable because it is negative. So for this equation, this will always be positive. Always be positive for this interval because root would not exist for this. Clear? Any doubts? If anyone has doubt, you can just ask me. I'll clear your doubts. Okay. So for this, it is pretty much clear that this function would be greater or equal to 0, greater than 0 for this interval. Now let's check this out. So here we are getting 4 plus 2 root 3. Interval is negative. It says x can take only negative values. Correct? When x can take negative values, what does that mean? That clearly means that this thing is not negative. When it is not negative, so that means it is not the part of the solution. So again, for this also, for all the values of this function will be what? greater than 0. So this is also not solution. Here, so what does that mean? That means for greater than 0 and for lesser than 0, our signum function, this inside the input for signum, will always be positive. So this is the mathematical approach. So that's how I showed you guys. Another way, how can I prove that this input for signum will always be positive? It's very easy. You can just draw the parabola. So we know the roots would be, let's say, here. So this sort of parabola we'll get, correct? Now as I know mod is here, so whatever is there on the positive x-axis, the same thing we get for negative x-axis. That's what I told you, independent variable. So mod is applied to an independent variable. What do we see? We see the mirror image, and y-axis works as a mirror. So you can use this observation also. So both ways you would understand that signum will always, this input of signum will always be positive. When it will be positive, what does that mean? That means it will be equal to 1. Clear out? It is clear. So 1 plus fractional part of 3.5. What is the fractional part of 3.5? Any guesses? Come on guys. It's very easy. It's 0.5. 3.5 minus 3 raised to x. What is this? It is minus of 1.5 raised to x. What is this? This is an exponential curve. So when we draw the exponential curve, so 1.x exponential curve would be what? It would be like this. This is 1.5 raised to x. But since it's minus sign, it is multiplied by the minus sign. So what does that mean? That means it would flip to the negative y-axis. So the correct graph here would be, I'll just change the color so that you guys would be able to understand what is the correct graph. It would be this. This is the right graph. Okay. Any doubts? See, I showed you using mathematical approach as well as your normal approach, your graphical approach. If you want, I can just make you understand this approach, this graphical approach, which is very quick, and I love that. So see, x square plus 8x plus 4. So this is a normal quadratic function. If I draw this graph, this would give me this sort of graph. Right? Sorry. Let me just erase it because while drawing it, I made a small mistake. Okay. When I draw this, it would be like this. Here. Now, whatever curve we have for positive x-axis, we'll be getting the same for negative the moment we apply mod. True. We'll have this sort of curve. That's it. As you can see, this curve is always positive. When it is positive, so signum of positive input is what? It's 1. That's it. Clear? Shall we move to our next question? It looks difficult, but as you can see, the moment you solve this part, it became very easy. Okay, let's move to our next question. Draw the graph of f of x is equal to greatest integer of fractional part of x and fractional part of greatest integer of x. So you have to draw both the graphs, and your time starts now, and I am pretty much sure no one would take more than 30 seconds to solve this question. The time starts now. If you need any hint, any doubt, you can ask. SYM, are there any doubts? If you need hint, so hint is just focus on what sort of output fractional part and greatest integer give. That's it. That's the only thing you need to focus to draw both the graphs. That's it. SYM says point at 0. Point. So you mean to say only 1 point? No, no, I'm asking you to draw the graph for all the values of x. For all the values of x belongs to the real number. So if you want to change your answer, you can change. It's okay. Okay. So I'll start solving this question. See, first I'll be drawing this part. What it says greatest integer of fractional part of x. Now tell me one thing. When we see the output of fractional part, or you can say the range of fractional part, what is that? That is, range for this is starting from 0 till 1, but 1 does not, so 1 is not included in this. Clear? So now tell me one thing. See, when greatest integer has an input which is between 0 to 1 but not 1, what output do we get? 0. Correct. So for all these values of x, we'll get 0. Our curve would be like this. Whenever we get an integer's fractional part would be 0, so 0's greatest integer is 0. And for other numbers, it's always 0. Whatever decimal number we'll get, decimal's greatest integer is what? 0. That's it. So SYM, you can just correct your answer. It's not point at 0, it will be 0. So basically you can say the x-axis would be your graph. Clear? Let's talk about this part. Here it is greatest integer, fractional part of greatest integer. So greatest integer's output is what? An integer. An integer's fractional part is what? Guesses? Any guesses? It's always 0. So whatever value you put, you will get 0 only. That's it. Sorry, y is equal to 0. Yes, absolutely right, SYM. Yes, your y, so x is not x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, your x-axis. Clear? I guess you must have enjoyed, and you could recall all your functions knowledge, be it domain, range, everything. You can just recall everything here. Cool. Let's move to our next question. So this question says we have to find the set of all possible solutions of the equation this. 2 raised to mod y minus mod 2 raised to y minus 1 is equal to 2 raised to y minus 1 plus 1. Okay. So time starts now. I would give you guys a minute because this is a bit lengthy question and it requires a bit of patience, and you have to just write it down. Almost 6-7 steps. So your time starts now. It's 8:28. Congratulations, SYM24. I'm happy. Yes, you could solve the question. For a teacher, yes, this is the happiest moment when their students can solve the questions correctly. And I would be really impressed if you'll be cracking JEE. So start solving this question. Any hint if you need? So the hint from my end would be open mod. That's it. If you can open mod function, things would be very easy for you. You simply need to open mod function. That's it. That would give you different intervals, and for different intervals you can solve the question and you can get the solutions. Okay, so I'll start solving it. So now, as you can see in this question, there are two mods. So there are two mods, so let's open both the mods. So one mod says we have to have this y greater than 0, and another one says y lesser than 0. Okay, now let's open this mod. So it says, I'm just finding out the critical points, is equal to 0, so that clearly means y minus 1 should be equal to 0, so y is equal to 1. So I have found two critical points here, so critical point 0 and 1. So I have got three intervals, 1, 2 and 3. So I'll be writing, so what other says minus 1 and union 1 to infinity. Okay, let's check Adya, let's check. So what I'll be doing here is, so since I have got three intervals, so I'll be checking for all these three intervals. So let's say when y is lesser than 0. When y is lesser than 0, it would be 2 raised to minus y, clear? Minus. Now tell me this about this mod. What will happen to this mod? When y is negative. When y is negative, so it would give me what? Overall negative number. Yes? When it would give me overall negative number, so that means I have to apply negative sign here, so it will become plus. So 2 raised to y minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 raised to y minus 1 plus 1. So this will cancel out, as I can clearly see. Minus 1, y minus 1, yes, plus 1. Okay, so 2 raised to minus y will be equal to 0. Just give me a moment, guys. I guess there is a small y minus 1. Oh, there is a mistake. So this would be minus sign. Why? Because I am opening minus sign, so this would become plus. So 2 raised to y minus 1 minus 1. Clear? Okay. So this minus 1 will come here. It will become 2. So as you can clearly see, so y will be equal to what? Y will be equal to minus 1. Clear? Any doubts so far? Okay. Now let's check for another interval. So when y is between 0 to 1. When y is between 0 to 1, so this would be 2 raised to y only, minus, when it is between 0 to 1, what would be this mod? When we'll be opening this mod, as you can clearly see, this would be negative. So to make it positive, I have to apply a negative sign. So 2 raised to y minus 1 is equal to 2 raised to y minus 1 plus 1. If I will be solving it further, so this will cancel out, and what I'll be getting here is y is equal to, so this will become 2, so y will be equal to 1. Now tell me one thing. Here, as you can see, my interval says it is between 0 to 1, right? And it gives me 1. And here in this interval, 1 is not included, so this won't be the solution. Clear? Now let's check for when y is greater or equal to 1. When I check for this interval, so 2 raised to y minus, this will give me positive value, so I'll keep it as it is, to the 2 raised to y minus 1. So minus minus would become plus here. 2 raised to y minus 1 plus 1, so this will cancel out. So what will I have? I'll have 2 raised to y is equal to 2 into 2 raised to y minus 1. So 2 raised to y is equal to 2 raised to y. So what does that mean? This is an identity, and this is true for all the values of y in this interval. An interval starts from 1 to infinity. So when it is true for all the values of y, that means this will satisfy all the, this will be satisfied for all the values. So y starting from 1 to infinity is your solution, and earlier we had this solution. So union minus 1. So this is our solution. So as Adya writes, -1 plus means union 1 to infinity. Adya, in this 1, your 1 needs to be included. The way you have written is, it seems 1 and infinity. No, it is a set 1 to infinity. So that would be your solution. So any doubts? If you have any doubt, you can just leave a comment. I'll clear your doubts. So we are moving to our next question. So our next question says we have to find the period of the function y is equal to greatest integer of 6x plus 7 plus cos pi x minus 6x. And your time starts now. It's a very easy question, but yes, it would give you one really good observation which would be helpful for you in future. So I must say, just focus on this question, because one property of greatest integer function, you'll be able to know that property here in this question itself. And I always suggest, it's always better not to mug up properties, not to mug up tricks or observations. It's always good to feel them, and then once you feel them, then yes, start incorporating them while you are solving the questions. So that is the knowledge you get when you solve questions. So always keep this in mind, that when you solve the question, from every question you gain some knowledge, and that should give you, as one sort of exposure to choose the right or wrong path. When you have this sort of mentality, yes, I should be able to know which is the right path, which should be the wrong path, then you can save your time in the examination. Okay, so I'll give you guys another 30 seconds. So any doubt, any hint if you need in this question, let me know. So it's a greatest integer function, and as you can see, there is an addition of a constant, there's a multiplication of a constant to independent variable. So just keep those things in mind and you'll be able to solve this question. Yes, it's 2. Adya, yes, it's absolutely right. It's 2. Okay, let's check this out. So when we draw the graph, check. This is greatest integer 6x plus 7. So the very first change here you see is that independent variable is being multiplied by 6. So that means the curve would shrink. Earlier, let's say if the curve was here to here, 0 to 1, it was straight line, then 1 to 2, it was a straight line. Now it would shrink, and it would shrink by 1/6. So at 1/6, you'll see here dot, and then again till the start it will go till 2/6 dot. So that's how you would see that curve has shrunk. Now independent variable is being added by 7. So when an independent variable is being added by 7, what happens? The entire curve towards left. When it shifts towards left, so what happens? Tell me. So when it shifts towards left, so you'll be seeing that exactly here, what you see is this curve would be having this 7 value here. Here. So now we'll be using this observation, because this observation is really important for you guys. So from there itself, now if let's say you want to open this up, so when you would like to open this up, this would be like this: greatest integer 6x plus 7 minus 6x. Okay, so now this is what this is. It seems like as if this is a fractional part of 6x, correct? So I can rewrite this as 7 minus fractional part of 6x here plus cos pi x. Everything is clear? Okay. Now just check here. This is a fractional part of 6x. What does that mean? That means we'll have this sort of curve, and again it will shrink by 1 by 6. So we'll be having here at 1 by 6 we'll be reaching till 1. Similarly here by 2 by 6 we'll be reaching here by 1. So as you can see, this is being this is being repeated. The same thing is being repeated after each 1 by 6. So the period for this would be what? 1 by 6. Whereas for cos pi x, the period is what? The curve, if I want to draw, the curve would be 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So for cos pi x, this is the curve. As you can see, after each 2, the curve is repeating itself. So the period for cos pi x would be 2. Now when we have two functions, either they are adding, or maybe they are multiplying, or they're being divided, or maybe they are being subtracted. Whenever we need to find their common period, what do? We always take the LCM of both the functions period. So here I'll be taking the LCM of 1 by 6 and 2. When you take the LCM of 1 by 6 and 2, the LCM you get is 2. So 2 here would be the period of this entire function. Got it? Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can just ask me. Okay, so we'll move to our next question. So in this question, the graph of y minus x and y plus x, this is given to you. Then we have to find the function x, y, or you can say function. And your time starts now. It's a very good question. I really like this question. So I want all of you to solve this question. And trust me, within 30 seconds, you can crack this question. It would not take more than 30 seconds. That's it. The time starts now. And I can see Adya wrote, is it 2? Yes, it's absolutely right. Okay. Okay, so here, as you can see, that this is a graph between y minus x and y plus x, and the graph is a straight line passing from the origin. So if I want to represent it in a mathematical form, I'll be writing it like this. This is slope of the line y plus x, correct? Now this slope, as you can see, that this slope is more than this angle between this line and x-axis is more than 45, correct? That means your slope m would be more than 1. Here, any doubt so far? No. Okay, so I'll be writing it as y minus x is equal to my plus mx. So it would be what? I'll take y common, so it would become 1 minus m plus 1 x, and I can write it as m plus 1 upon 1 minus m into x. As I know that m is what? M is more than 1, so 1 minus m would be what? A negative value. So it would be what? Y minus some negative number into x. So a straight line passing from the origin but having what? Negative slope, or you can say making an angle which is more than 90, an obtuse angle. Okay. So the graph would be something like this. Here between x and y. Here, any doubts? If you have any doubt, you can just ask me. It's a very easy question, but I really love this question because It's something which which has a basic knowledge included. Any doubts, guys? Okay, we'll move to our next question. So next question says the function f of 2x plus 3y comma 2x minus 7y is equal to 20x. Then we have to find f of x comma y, and your time starts now. Okay, think about this question. It's a very good question. The way we solved our previous question, we can solve this question as well. Adya, if you have any doubt regarding previous question, yes, you are welcome to ask the question. You can just leave a comment. So again, I'm waiting for you guys. You have another 45 seconds. Muthu Kumar, sir, bye, sir. The class is not over yet. You can just sit and solve more questions. And if you want to study any specific topic, yes, do let me know. I'll prepare the lecture on that topic. Okay, so let's solve this question. So when even I was attempting this question, so the very good thing when I saw this question was that if you just look at this question, so inputs are given to you, x and y, but when you see the output is also in single power of x, and there is no power of y, correct? No term of y. What does that mean? That clearly means that this function is having linear terms. When this function is having linear term, that's why there is no change in the power of x. So when it is in terms linear and there is no term in y, that means it is, so both the inputs 2x plus 3y and 2x minus 7y, they are being added in such a manner that y term becomes 0 and the x term becomes 20 times of x. Got it? So it is pretty much clear that this function is going to be a linear function for sure. So I can rewrite this as like this. I'm just assuming this function must be like this. If I keep a comma b, so it would look like, let's say, m a plus l b, something of this sort. So I'll write, let's say, m into 2x plus 3y and plus l into 2x minus 7y is equal to 20x. Now when we compare y terms and x terms, so what do we get? We get 3m minus 7l is equal to 0, first equation. And what is the second equation? We get 2m plus 2m plus twice of l is equal to 20. So 2x plus 3y and 2x minus 7y. Okay. Now when you solve these two equations, so what do you get? So what you can do is you can just multiply this this by, let's say, 3 and this by 2, or when you subtract, let's say from equation 1 to 2, what do you get? So this will become 6m and this is minus 14l, and minus 6l is equal to minus 20, correct? So your L would be what? L would be your 1. Clear? Any doubt so far? Okay. And when you check M, so if your sorry, this is 3 into this 60, sorry, my bad, 60, and this is your minus minus will get cut, so L will be your 3. L will be 3, and when you put L as 3, what do you see? You see when L is 3, 21, 21, okay, so M will become 7. Here, so now if I want to write the expression, so A comma B will be what? 7, your 7 times A plus thrice of B, or if you want to write it in terms of x comma y, so it will be 7x plus thrice of y. This will be your expression. Clear? Any doubt so far? The only catch in this question was that single order terms in x and there is no term of y. So this is the only catch in this question. I hope you must have understood this question. If you have any doubt, you can just free to ask the questions. Clear? Okay, we'll move to our next question. Yes, Adya, the previous question was right. Okay, so in this question you have to find the domain of f of x is equal to log base 3. In the bracket you have minus log base 1 by 2, 1 plus 1 upon x raised to 1 by 4 minus 1. Okay, so I give you guys 30 seconds to solve this question. Very easy question. What you need to do is yesterday what we studied about the domain of log function, you just need to use that condition. That's it, nothing else. If you have any doubts, yes, free to ask. Any hint if you need. Okay, so let's solve this question. So as I told you in the beginning, that what you need to do is you just need to do a simple inequality. You have to create a simple inequality. What is that inequality? As I told you in the beginning, that you have to use domains constraint. What is that domains constraint here is that whatever is the input of log function, this should be greater than 0. That's it. So when you use that minus of log base 1 by 2, 1 plus 1 upon x raised to 1 by 4, minus 1 should be greater or equal to 0. This can be further written as minus, let's say 1 upon log 1 plus 1 upon x raised to 1 by 4, 1 by 2. I'm using logs property, that's it. Greater or equal to greater than 1. If I solve it further, it would be minus minus would become plus. Now you would say, how did I get this minus? And I'll tell you. So log of 1 plus 1 upon x raised to 1 by 4. Instead of writing 1 by 2, I wrote 2 raised to minus 1. So this minus 1 came in front and it will become plus. So this is 2 greater than 1. Here. Now if I solve it further, it can be written as log of 2, 1 plus 1 upon x raised to 1 by 4 greater than 1. Now, tell me one thing. What you would be doing here? Okay, Adya says wait. Okay, fine. I'll just wait for you. So, okay, now I'll be taking this, both the sides, left hand and right hand side. I'll be taking 2's to the power log 2, 1 plus 1 upon x raised to 1 by 4. Similarly, on the right hand side, it will become 2 raised to 1. And since the base is more than 1, so inequality would not change. And SYM says the answer would be greater than 1. Let's check. Let's check. So 2, when the base is 2, so 2 raised to log 2, it will become 1. So I'll have 1 plus 1 upon x raised to 1 by 4. greater than 2. If I solve it further, what do I get? X raised to 1 by 4 greater than 1. Now I can just simply I can just take a 4 power, and what do I get? 1 upon x greater than 1. Clear? And it will become 1 minus x upon x greater than 0. Okay, any doubt? Okay, tell me guys, any doubt? If you have any doubts, yes, you can free to shoot the questions. And when you solve this further, what do you see? You see that the answer would be, we have got 0 and 1 as critical points. So the answer here, let's say if you put 2 here, so it will give you a negative. So this is your negative region, this is your positive region, and this is your again negative region. So the answer here, your x would belong to 0 to 1. And if you don't believe, yes, you can just free to cross check. So x raised to 1 by 4. So whatever value you would put, it would be what? Let's say if you put between 0 to 1, and you are taking what? The 1/4 root. That would give you a bigger number, what you are putting. So 1 upon something which is lesser than 1, but a bigger number. So it will give you more than 1. So log of 1 by 2, inside you have a bigger number, bigger than 1. So that would give you what? That would give you a smaller value, because if you remember that when base is lesser than 1, between 0 to 1, what happens? If you see that, if you remember the curve, it was like this, correct? Now it was 1, and now the inner part is more than 1, so you get this value, negative of this, so it will become positive. So let's say somewhere here, minus 1 reduced by 1, and then you have log 3, some small positive number. Okay, so you can easily cross check, because if anything goes, see what I mean to say is, let's say if this becomes more, eventually what will happen? You'll get lesser negative, you'll get lesser negative, and eventually the input would become negative. This would be small part, and this would be bigger part. Clear? So your answer would be 0 to 1. If you have any doubts, yes, you are free to ask. SYM, you can just cross check which mistake you committed. I guess, I hope you must have done the cross multiplication, and that's how you must have got the answer. I guess, I feel so. Any doubts? Okay, let's move to our next question. We have this function. Okay, I guess I'll just correct the question. The question is f of x. F of x is given by cos greatest integer pi square x plus cos greatest integer minus pi square x, where this stands for a greatest integer function. Then we have to correct the right option. Okay, let's choose the right option. You forgot about 1 by 2. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. I see, in every question we learn something. So that is our main motto. Whether we commit mistake or we don't commit mistake, we should learn something. So I hope you learned something from this question. So let's solve this question, and you have got again 30 seconds. Any hint if you need, you can ask. Feel free to ask. Trust me guys, it's a very easy question. This question you might see in JEE mains at least. It would hardly take 1 minute. That's it. Check this question. Okay guys, let me start. Okay, tell me one thing. What is the square of pi? What is the value? Any guesses? If I'm not wrong, it comes somewhere around 9.85, somewhere around this. So greatest integer of 9.85 would be what? 9. My function would be what? F of x would be cos 9x cos 9x plus here cos minus 9.85. So it's a negative. So your greatest integer here would be what? Minus 10, minus 10x. Now we know one thing, that this cos is an even function. It absorbs negative. So this would be cos 10x. Clear? So this is your overall final function. Yes, S5M9 something, correct. Clear? Now what you need to do is you just need to punch pi by 2 minus pi and just check. Hello Swam Prakash Malik, hello. Yes, you were late, but it's okay. But let me tell you guys one thing, just make sure you always be there in the class exactly at 8. I am going to teach you guys exactly at 8 every day except Sunday. So yes, you guys can just switch on your laptops and you can just start accessing Let's Crack JEE English, and you would see me there teaching starting from 8 p.m. every day. Okay, or you can just subscribe the channel so that you get the notification whenever any class is being scheduled. So Adya says your answer is B and C. Let's check Adya. Okay, so let's put pi first. So when you put pi, what do you get? Cos 9 pi. So cos 9 pi is what? Here it comes on this here. So minus 1 plus cos 10 pi. Cos 10 pi is again here, so it gives you 1, so it becomes 0. So obviously this A option is not correct. This is function class 11th and 12th. So this is function which is generally there in 12th standard in most of the books, and it is the base for calculus. And the way I'm teaching it, and you can just easily crack JEE questions, because the question we did today, there are many questions in past year JEE examinations as well. So whatever questions you guys are solving, and I could see like Adya, SYM, you guys are answering correctly. So yes, you have that level, those who can crack JEE's questions. Okay, so option A is wrong. Let's check option B. Pi by 2, so it becomes cos 9 pi by 2 plus cos of 5 pi. It gives you what? This cos 5 pi gives you what? Minus 1, and this is multiple of odd multiple of pi by 2, so that means 0. The final answer is minus 1, and yes, so option B is correct. Let's check option C. So for C, it's cos of 9 pi again plus cos of 10 pi, and it gives you what? It gives you minus 1, it gives you 1, so it will become 0. So yes, option C is also correct. Let's check option D. Pi by 4, so cos of 9 pi by 4, so this would be in terms of 1 by root 2. Let's check whether it will be plus or 2 pi, and 2 pi plus pi by 4, so obviously it is there in first quadrant, so it is positive 1 by root 2, and then 10 pi. Okay, so 5 pi by 2, so that would be what? That would be your odd multiple of pi by 2, so that would give you 0. So answer would be 1 by root 2. So that means option D is not correct. So options B and option C both are correct. So as Adya did it correctly, so Adya, yes, congratulations. So Adya is just going really well, and she is there in 9th standard and she is solving questions for JEE. That's really good. That's really good. So Sam Prakash Malik, SYM24, yes, she's there to compute you guys. So just see her, the way she solves question, really good. Proud of you, Adya. And let's go to our next question. So this question says f of x, your function is x plus twice of mod x plus 1 plus twice of mod x minus 1. If f of x is equal to k, and this equation has exactly one root, then we have to find the value of k. I give you guys again a minute, and people like Adya, yes, they might solve this question in 30 seconds. So for Adya, 30 seconds are very, I guess it's sufficient for her, but for us, yes, it's 1 minute. Let's start the question. Swam Prakash Malik, I am there on Unacademy, so I have not conducted any special class so far there, but don't worry. So in the upcoming week, I'll be conducting a special class on Unacademy platform, and that special class would be for observations which we made during this theoretical classes, and we'll be solving questions based on JEE and maybe past year JEE questions, so that it would boost your confidence that yes, you can solve JEE's question based on the knowledge which I have given you. Adya says even I need a minute at least. Okay, Adya, yes. Okay, so tell me guys, whether you were able to solve this question or not. Okay, so when we are solving this question, so as you can see, mod function is here. So the very first thing which we need to do is we need to open mod sign. And how to open that mod? We simply need to find the critical points, and based on the critical points we create intervals, and for specific interval we assign positive or negative sign to this mod function. Clear? So let's check. Critical points here is -1 and here it is 1. So we have got 3 intervals, -1 and 1. So 1, the second, and 3. So let's make it when x is lesser than -1. So when this is the case, so f of x is what? Your x plus. So this will be what? This will give you a negative number. So to make a negative number a positive, what do we need to do? We need to multiply with negative sign. So minus twice of x minus 2 plus, again it will also give you a negative number, so let's make it positive. So minus twice of x plus 2 here. So this will become what? Minus 3x. So for x lesser than -1, so Adya says k is equal to 3. Let's check the answer then. So f of x is what? So f of x when x is between -1 to 1. Let's check. So it will be x, and this would give you a positive number, so twice of x plus 2 minus of twice of x minus plus 2. Okay, clear? Because for this interval it will give you what? Negative number. That's why I had to multiply with a negative sign. So this would be what? This will cancel out, so we'll have x plus 4. F of x for x greater than 1 interval. So the answer here would be x plus twice of x minus 2. So this will cancel out, so eventually we'll have 5 of x. Okay. So k is 3. Swam Prakash Malik says k is equal to 3. As per me, yes. I guess k is equal to 3 is the answer. Let's check. Congratulations guys, you are exactly hitting the right spot. So let's draw the graph. So let's draw the intervals -1, 1. So before -1, as you can see, it's a straight line passing from the origin having negative slope. So this would be the straight line, and it will come here at -1. The value would be what? 3. From here, between -1 to 1, it is a straight line x plus 4 having 4 as y-intercept and having slope 1. So it would be passing from here, and this would be the straight line till 1. And at 1 it would be 5. From here, for x more than 1, it is 5 of x. So it will be what? A straight line passing from the origin. It would seem passing from the origin but having slope 5. So it would be like this. Now it says f of x is equal to k. So f of x, that means y is equal to k, is a line, and this line is what? Parallel to the x-axis. When we have a line parallel to the x-axis, so how do we draw that line? So we can draw that line like this. Here, now it says we have to find a point where exactly this line cuts this graph, this blue graph, exactly at one point. So as you can see, it is cutting here, it is not cutting the graph, so that means no solution. But here it cuts the graph exactly at one point, which is your 3. Here it cuts the graph at 2 points, so here we'll be having 2 solutions. So if f of x is more than 3, then we have 2 solutions. When f of x is lesser than 3, we don't have any solution. But when f of x is equal to 3, we have exactly 1 solution, no solution, and 2 solutions. Clear? So for this case, the answer would be 3. For 3, we have exactly 1 solution. Clear? So apart from this answer, the required answer, we also got 2 extra information. If someone might ask, for what values of k you'll have at least 2 roots, then the values of k would be more than 3. And if someone says, give me the values of k for which this equation doesn't have any solution, then the values would be what? Starting from -infinity to 3. 3 is not included. So always have this sort of mindset, this sort of approach that when you are solving a question, apart from getting the answer, if the question is slightly changed, then what will be the answer? So if you have this sort of mindset, you'll have good knowledge in every question. You don't need to solve hundreds of questions. 10 questions are more than enough for you guys. Let's solve our next question. Okay, number of values of x for which f of x is equal to mod of x square minus x plus 4 minus 2 minus 3 is equal to x square plus x minus 4. You have to find the number of values of x, or you can say roots of this equation. Again, I give you guys a minute. You can solve this question. If you need any doubt, yes, you can ask your doubts. Okay, one more information I would like to give you guys, that apart from this this class, which is 8 p.m. in the evening, I conduct one more class on JEE Quest channel in the morning at 6 a.m. Whosoever is free, or maybe your friends, whosoever is free, they can also attend that session in the morning every day. So that session is especially for early risers, because in the morning your mind is free, you are free, you're energetic, and within a lesser time span you get good knowledge, good amount of knowledge. So anyone who is willing to attend a morning session, yes, you are welcome. You can join me on JEE Quest channel at 6 a.m. every day except Sunday. Okay, let's solve this question. Okay, so in this question, yes, Swam Prakash Malik, I'm on 2 channels. One is Let's Crack JEE in English, and another one is JEE Quest. I'll write it down here. JEE Quest. Okay, so when you are solving this question, so the very first thing, whenever we are solving questions based on mod, what do we need to look for? We always need to look for this mod sign. So how to open it? When, for which interval this mod will give us positive value or negative value. So though this mod sign always gives us positive value, but when we are opening the mod sign, we have to check for which interval we have to apply positive and for which interval we have to apply negative sign to make the function positive. So let's check first this inner thing, x square minus x plus 4. let's check this. I'll say it, let's say this is a function g of x. So when I check this, it is pretty much clear it is going to be concave upward. I'm not sure whether it will be cutting the x-axis or not. Let's check that out. For that, what do I need to check? The discriminant. Discriminant here would be b square minus 4ac. So it is what, lesser than 0. That means it will always be above x-axis here. So that means what, it is always positive for all the values of x belongs to real number. So I can just remove the mod without applying any sign. So it will be x square minus x plus 4 minus 2 mod minus 3 is equal to x square plus x minus 12. Okay, now so this would become what, x square minus x plus 2 mod minus 3 is equal to x square plus x minus 12. Other says plus minus root 13 by 2. Let's check. Now again we have to open this mod sign. To open this mod sign, what do we need to do? We simply need to again check. Let's consider this is h of x, so x square minus x plus 2. Let's check its discriminant. That is what, 1 minus 4ac 8. Again it's lesser than 0. That means what, it will always be above the x-axis. Clear? So I can just remove this mod sign, and finally what do I get? I will get mod of x square minus x minus 1 is equal to x square plus x minus 12. Clear? Any doubt so far? Okay, now let's check this sign here. Now this mod, let's try to open this mod. Again, when we need to remove this mod, again we have to check the discriminant. Here discriminant would be what, b square minus 4ac, and this time discriminant turns out to be positive, right? When it is positive, that means let's check the root first. So the root for this equation would be b, okay, so 1 plus minus 1 plus 4 by 2. So it is 1 plus, so one root would be 1 minus root 5 by 2, and another would be what, 1 plus root 5 by 2. Clear? So for this interval, we have to apply negative sign. This is for which interval? When x is between 1 minus root 5 by 2 to 1 plus root 5 by 2. Here, so if you want to solve this part, what do you see? Minus x square plus x plus 1 is equal to x square plus x minus 12. So x will cancel out. We'll have twice of x square. It would come here, and this would go here. It would be 13. So we'll have x as plus minus root 13 by 2. Now just check this plus minus root 13 by 2, whether this plus minus root 13 by 2, these two values, do they lie in this interval? Let's check this out. What do you see? Root 13 by 2 is somewhere on what? Okay, I'll just tell you the exact value for root 13. It's divided by 2. So it turned out to be 1.80, somewhere around this. Root 13 by 2, 1.80. So it tells you plus minus 1.80. Now let's check 1 minus root 5 by 2's value. Minus plus 1 by 2. So this value is somewhere around 1.61, and this value is somewhere around minus 0.61. So as you can see, these two values, root 13 by 2 plus minus root 13 by 2, they are not lying in this interval. So that means this root 13 plus minus root 13 by 2, this is not the solution. Now let's check for another interval. What is the other two intervals when it is not there in this interval? This one and this one. So let's check for them. For them, the mod sign will be removed and there would be no minus sign multiplied. So it will be x square minus x minus 1 will be equal to x square plus x minus 12. So x square will cancel out. We'll have what? Twice of x will be equal to 11. So this would be what? X will be equal to 11 by 2, which would become 5.5. And this 5.5, it does belong to this interval, which is the acceptable interval. Correct? So this will be your answer. X is equal to 5.5. So the 2 is inside the root. No, it is outside the square root. 2 is inside the root. No. Oh, sorry. My bad. Yes. 2 is inside the root. Absolutely right. 2 is inside the root. I'm sorry guys. Okay, let's check. The value of this would be, so 6.5 square root. That comes 2.54, and 2.54 does, so this plus minus 2.54, this is not there in this interval. So that means this square root 13 by 2 will not be the solution. Yes, Swam Prakash Malik, yes, I checked it. It comes out to be 2.54, and 2.54 is not there in the solution. Here. Okay, great. So for the other interval, I checked it, and as you can see, the value comes out to be 5.5, and 5.5 is there in the acceptable interval. So the answer would be 5.5 and only one value. Clear? So I hope, yes, you must have understood all the concepts in this question. If you have any doubts regarding the question, regarding the functions, you can ask me. If you want, I'll just give you a quick look back. You can see the questions, or if you have any doubt from your notebook, from your sheets, yes, you can just drop the question here. I'll solve those questions here live. Although plus minus root 13 by 2, it is not possible. Yes, it is not possible. As you can see, the value what we are getting is 2.54, and 2.54 is not between minus 0.61 to 1.61. Okay, so any doubts so far? If you don't have any doubts, so we'll conclude our session here. Thank you very much, guys. It was a very good interactive session. I really enjoyed it. When I have students like Swam, Prakash, SYM and Adya, when they are responding, then class becomes interesting. Otherwise it would become a boring class. But when you have these interactive students, I really enjoy that. And thanks a lot, guys. I would suggest you guys to subscribe Unacademy Plus or Iconic. If you want me to guide you how to crack the examination, if you want me to strategize your examination, then yes, go for Iconic package and do apply my code NK001. And you can also subscribe JEE Quest, and you can subscribe this Let's Crack JEE channel, so that you would get notified in future whenever I conduct any class. Sooner I will be conducting a class on Unacademy, so that you guys can have a different experience for a live class. It would seem like an offline class. You'll get options. You can just mark the answer there in the application itself, and that answer would directly come to me. That answer would not be public. So don't worry about. So you don't need to worry about people whether they'll be judging you or not. You'll get all the answers directly to me. So I welcome you all to Unacademy application also. Whenever I'll be conducting, whenever I'll be conducting the class, I'll be including the slide here so that you guys come to know about my class. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. It was great teaching you guys. Bye bye. Take care. We'll be seeing you on Monday with a quadratic equation, and I'll also be covering composite and inverse function, the remaining part of this function chapter, on Unacademy application, and I'll be giving you the date and time sooner for that class. Okay, bye bye. Good night, guys. 6 a.m. So that is the 6 a.m. lecture is in Hindi, but the terminology I'll be using Hindi. So that's a good way to study as well. So sometimes people don't understand English, so for them it's in Hindi, but all the terms I use, those are there in English itself. So you can also attend that 6 a.m. session. You can come and attend that as well. Thank you, guys, and that is there on JEE Quest. Adya, that is there on JEE Quest. I'll write it for you. It's JEE Quest. JEE Quest. Okay. Good night, guys. Take care. Bye bye.